So, I saw this in the news and I was like, I would love to see more remakes of older Sonic games come out. So, with the year of Shadow, seeing the PS2 classic Shadow the Hedgehog come back would be amazing. And then we see this. SEGA trademarked Shadow the Hedgehog. And I'm hoping, personally for myself at least, the person who is talking through this microphone, either they do a remaster or another game. And to be completely honest, I would rather a remaster first, and then they do start doing Shadow the Hedgehog sequels, and then they kind of intersect with like doing some like, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I know for a fact that like Sega just isn't probably gonna do it, to be fair. Was like Sonic Adventure coming back, like that would have been super cool. And even though people don't like it, and it's probably one of the worst Sonic games of all time, I would like to see a remake or a remaster of Sonic 06. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's a bad game, but I would like to see some of these sort of early, mid, late 2000s Sonic games come back in some way. Because we had a lot of them. Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Adventure 2. We also had stuff like Sonic and the Black Knight. I know Sonic Colors did get a re-release with Sonic Colors Ultimate. Of course, how can I forget Sonic Unleashed? And Sonic and the Sacred Rings on the Wii. Come on, man. Like, there's so much good stuff that I feel like, good and bad stuff that I feel like could come back. Hell, if they could like remake, the two Sonic Boom games, Rise of Lyric, and I forgot what the other one was called. Like, I feel like we need a new, a renaissance of Sonic, or a Sonic Sans, or whatever you want to call it, Bring back a collection of older Sonic games. I feel like the Master Gems collection was certainly something on the PS2 and the original Xbox. There's so much stuff. Sonic Riders coming back, that would be cool. I've been playing that on an emulator recently. That was a really fun time. So I feel like there's a lot of really good things that can happen from here, but it's crazy to think about it. So Sega has filed a brand new trademark for Shadow the Hedgehog. Now I'm talking Sonic. Shadow the Hedgehog, which might be hinting at a new game after 20 years, which is, again, like I said, crazy to think about. Trademark was published earlier today on Chisai Watch and is categorized as a Class 9 game program and Class 41 education/entertainment. Now, that Class 41 is very interesting because, again, entertainment and education, two very different things. So I feel like it just needs to fall in one of those categories. And if we're looking game program and entertainment, I think we've got something cooking here. While a broad trademark covering the character across various formats, including mobile phone cases, what's interesting is that it makes a note of computer programs downloadable via the internet, which would not encompass the original 2005 spin-off because it was a PS2 game, and obviously downloadable content probably not a thing during that time, especially since the first digital store that we got from a gaming perspective, and I could be completely wrong about this, was the Xbox Marketplace, unless there was something before that. I'm pretty sure Steam was definitely, Steam was around that time, so you know what, Steam was the first and then probably Xbox Marketplace after that, but I digress. So as per the trademark, a new game could be in development, whether it's a remake of the 05 spin-off or a brand new sequel. All of this should be taken with a heavy hand of salt, or a heavy grain of salt. I feel like there's a lot of things this week that should be taken with a heavy grain of salt, but I digress. The trademark covers everything from toys and clothing to film and TV, not just games, and the small note is far from confirmation that there's a new one in the works. That being said, the PS2 game turns 20 next month. I wonder if this makes people feel really, really old. And plus, one thing that I don't think a lot of people talk about is that the music in Shadow the Hedgehog is absolutely incredible. I Am All of Me is like a song that I listened to a lot when I was a kid, for example. Crazy to think about. But yeah, so Sega filed a new trademark for Shadow the Hedgehog, and it's currently unclear which project it's tied to, but we'll likely find out. And this is, of course, tweeted by Sonic City, Sonic News Media and Community. So, again, fans are speculating, fans are looking, and fans are getting excited. Sega may be preparing to announce something for its anniversary, but don't hold your breath for a remake. Sonic team boss Takashi Iizuka doesn't appear interested in revisiting older games, explained that instead of using all that time and energy to remake a game that people have already experienced, we could make a brand new game instead. So if this trademark is pointing to anything, then a port or remaster seems far more likely. Really? A port or remaster? Because that feels like it's going down the remake path, but the problem is that remake and remaster are two different words. Remake does require significantly more effort compared to a remaster for sure, but now we're just kind of, picking up like small bits and pieces of like, but this, but that. It's turning into a bit of a lawyer game at this point in terms of like, what terminology do we use? What do these words mean? How is this ultimately going to fit into the puzzle of what we're talking about here? Though the community is holding out for a sequel or even a reboot, continuing the year of Shadow into 2025, some have suggested Shadow Frontiers. Okay, I don't think I've actually heard that, but that would be crazy. Shadow having his own version of Sonic Frontiers, that would be insane. Offering a new spin on the open world Sonic format, hopefully with a few guns sprinkled in for good measure. Hopefully, we gotta have the motorbike, man. We gotta have the motorbike. Anyway, is it really a Shadow game without a Glock? Probably not. Or if he doesn't go Chaos Control, you know what I mean? For now, all we have to go by is this tiny note in the newly published trademark for the character, which might amount to nothing. Maybe it's referring to Sonic X Shadow Generations. Whatever the case, the community is feeling that 05 fever, and hopefully Sega delivers soon. It's been too long since the original. And the fact that we even got Sonic Shadow Generations at all is another thing. So I feel like Sega team boss Takashi Iizuka is specifically just referring to remakes. I think he might be open to the idea of remasters of previous games, and I suppose then that doesn't completely put everything that I said earlier on in the video as moot. If I'm being completely honest, like there is a good chance that this could potentially happen again in the future, that we could get older titles coming back. But I'm curious as to what you guys have to say about this in the comments below. I want to hear some thoughts. I want to hear some theories. Let's get cooking with these. Let's get theory crafting, rather, I think is probably the better term to use here. But with all of that being said, though, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to our channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. And with all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.